The story begins with a fisherman from a remote island tribe named Namsi who one day found a boy in a canoe stranded on the shore of their island. The boy was the only one who survived from the big storm last night while other people in the sea were reported drowned. Namsi then brought the boy to the head of the tribe named Malio. After negotiating with the tribal leaders, they believed that the boy was a blessing from the gods. His safety was considered a special sign, so Malio decided to adopt the boy and intends to make him the successor to the tribe's leadership in the future. However, that decision was rejected by his wife Rune because they already had a son named Nawa. Even so, Malio remained in his position and named the boy Tamariki o Tangaroa, who was later called Tama. Jealousy and fear would make Rune's future son spread slander to the islanders. He said that Tama was not the bearer of blessings but the incarnation of the god of mischief. As time went by, the lie began to be believed by many people including Malio himself. As a result, Tama was removed from his status as the heir and no longer recognized as a member of the tribe's heirloom. Seeing Tama's unfortunate fate, Namsi felt helpless and decided to take care of him. Because Namsi had a profession as a fisherman, he taught Tama various life skills starting from catching fish, repairing boats, to working hard to survive. His goal was for Tama to become a hard worker. Living with Namsi made Tama feel accepted and happy. However, the situation changed when Namsi had a son. Tama began to feel anxious and afraid that one day he would be eliminated. That feeling pushed him to quietly build a boat with the intention of leaving the island. Unfortunately, before that plan came true, Nawa and his friends came and intended to torture Tama. The situation changed when a girl named Mehana threw them to Nawa and his friends ran away. That night, Namsi's house caught fire. Fortunately, Namsi's son was safe because Tama rescued him. Nevertheless, Namsi blamed Tama because he felt that the fire could be prevented if Tama did not leave the house. In his anger, Namsi returned Tama to Malio. Malio then announced to all the residents that if no one wanted to take care of Tama, he would throw him into the sea. Hearing this, a man named Paioi, a drinker, was willing to take Tama. Not because of pity, but so that Tama could help his daughter's daily work, Mehana. That night, Paioi revealed his past to Mehana. He blamed Mehana's birth for his wife's death and humiliated his daughter by saying that Mehana was not as beautiful as his mother. He even considered Mehana lucky if there was a man who wanted to marry her only with 2 chickens. Those words hurt Mehana very much. The next day, Tama helped Mehana sell firewood because Paioi didn't work. Some island girls like Tama came and teased him, but Tama refused because he respected Mehana. That refusal made them angry and even insulted Mehana with harsh words. Tama, who didn't accept it, drove them away. Because the trade was not profitable, Tama invited Mehana to take a bath on the river. There, Mehana expressed her sadness because she felt that her father was not loved and considered the ugliest girl on the island. Tama calmed her down and promised that he would marry Mehana with a marriage of 3 fat chickens. That promise made Mehana smile happily. On the way home, Paioi expressed his anger at Tama and called Tama as a bad driver. After Tama left, Mehana gently embraced her sleeping father. That attitude made Paioi realize that although Mehana was not beautiful, he had a good heart. Shortly after that incident, Tama asked Mehana to leave the island with the boat he had made so that they were free from insult and suffering. "I'm going to leave this place. Do you want to come with me?" The next morning, while Paioi was still asleep, Mehana quietly found Tama on the beach. However, Tama was surprised to see Mehana coming without bringing anything. Then he asked why Mehana left empty-handed. Mehana then explained that she couldn't go with Tama. The reason was simple but heavy. Because her father, Paioi, didn't have anyone to take care of him. Despite the bad behavior of his father, Mehana still felt obliged to take care of the person who gave birth to him. Hearing that decision, Tama lowered his intention to take Mehana away. However, it was Mehana who told Tama to leave the island. He realized that almost all the residents there hated Tama and his life would never be peaceful if he continued to survive. Before leaving, Mehana gave Tama a bow as a sign of remembrance, as well as a reminder that on the island there was a girl who sincerely loved him. Tama also promised that one day he would return to the island to marry Mehana. After making that promise, Tama finally left the island. With great effort, he managed to get through the violent sea waves. His success made Tama feel relieved and happy, while Mehana could only look from a distance with mixed feelings. Mehana also promised himself that every day he would come to the beach, hoping one day Tama would return as promised. "I'll search the horizon every day." In his risky journey, Tama's boat was hit by a violent wave. He was swept away until he ended up stranded on another island, which turned out to be a residential island, in a state of unconsciousness. Shortly after, a man with a fat body found Tama and took him to his place. When he woke up, the man introduced himself as self-esteem tour. However, due to his fat body and to make it easier, we just call him Andy. After Andy left, a female servant named Teddy came to bring clean clothes for Tama. Teddy explained that Tama was very lucky because he was stranded on an island owned by a wealthy businessman and very respected, named Johnny Lingo. After changing clothes, Tama went down to meet Johnny Lingo. Shortly after, Johnny came and revealed that Andy was a loyal servant as well as a close friend. Johnny also asked how Tama could get stranded on that island. Tama told him that he was swimming alone. However, suddenly a big wave hit his boat until he lost consciousness. When he woke up, he was already there, saved by Andy. Hearing the story, Johnny showed a friendly attitude and promised that the next day he would take Tama around the island. The next morning, Johnny really kept his promise. He took Tama to see various corners of the island, introduce food sources, and a tidy life there. Seeing Johnny so nice to Tama, Andy, who was careful, began to feel worried. He suggested that Tama be returned to where he came from because he was afraid Tama was just a naughty boy who was afraid of the sea. But Johnny refused that assumption. With his confidence, Johnny chose to raise Tama and intend to train him to be a great trader. Andy, who did not fully agree, could only remain silent and eventually left them. That day, Johnny also told Tama that the workers on the island were once Buddhists. However, Johnny had freed them all. For him, wealth is not only to be enjoyed, but also to help people who live in difficulty. Then Johnny took Tama to a cow pen to teach him how to raise cattle. However, Tama, who was not used to it, was afraid and reflexively climbed a tree, making the atmosphere a bit awkward and funny at the same time. That night, even though life was now enough, Tama was reminded of Mehana. The deep longing made him anxious. The urge eventually made Tama run away from the island while bringing Johnny's jewelry. Unfortunately, the action was provoked by Andy. Andy also brought Tama to Johnny. Johnny was surprised and disappointed because all this time he had treated Tama very well. Tama then admitted that he stole the jewelry because he wanted to give it to Mehana as a life support for them. Angry, Johnny actually showed his wisdom. He gave the jewelry to Tama, but on one condition. Tama must pass it by working for Johnny for 7 years. Johnny insisted that if Tama really loved Mehana, then he could not give something that came from stealing. Giving a gift from a bad result is the same as lowering the degree of a woman's love. According to Johnny, the form of true love is sacrifice and honesty. Because of that, Tama was asked to prove his love by working hard for 7 years for a clean and respected future with Mehana. Although your intentions were honorable. The next day, Tama also started working under Johnny Lingo. Meanwhile, Andy was directly tasked to guide and monitor every step of Tama. A little too familiar to Tama. After plucking the jackfruit, Andy also asked Tama to repair the broken fish net. Fortunately, Tama already understood how to fix the fish net because he was once taught by Namsi. His expertise made his work quickly completed without much difficulty. Not long after, Teddy came to visit Tama. After his work, Tama asked why Andy never